Welcome back to the iRacing British Touring Car Championship, round 25 from Silverstone National, coming to you live here on BSR TV with me, Chris Cohen, joined by Matt in the commentary box. Matt Dalton, welcome back, Matt.
Evening, Chris. Evening, everybody.
Forgot I should mention your full name rather than just your first name, but never mind. The car's just about ready to make their way onto the grid as well. So, Cats taking pole position in this one, but Chepalevsky, the big news, is down in 4th position, Matt, so that's going to be very interesting when we get to the first corner, see just how well he can do from there.
Yeah, as we've alluded to already, he's going to be on an absolute mission. I don't think he's going to be that bothered about being in 4th. Like, race pace is a different thing to qualifying.
We're going to have 30 cars going down to the first corner, the right-hander at Copse, which is a high-speed corner, so anything could happen. And we saw, like you mentioned before, in the Carrera Cup, the support race for this series earlier this week, yesterday in fact, it was a bit hairy.
It was, yeah. It was like an unshaven or an uncut Mexican, wasn't it? It was the first corner is fast, so they may get through that one. The second corner is extremely tricky into that little hairpin, and someone somewhere is going to go in the wall.
Well, the lights are on. Round 25. Silverstone National is about ready to get underway. Cats will lead the field. Here we go. Lights are green. So it's Cats from Sutton, from Terry. Good start from Chepalevsky, but he's on the outside. And look at, is that Simon Field on the move?
Yep. Right
down the inside, coming into turn 1. 30 cars to get through there. Sutton's going round the outside. Field's lost it. Simon Field.
Great save.
Wow, that was
the king of the great save at the moment, isn't he?
Was so close from Simon Field there, but yeah, it was a bit of a shame. But Cats is getting down to the first. Well, I'm almost lost for words here. I can hear some crashing behind, but Adam Terry almost got his nose up the inside, and already Sutton's trying to make his mark on this race by going down the inside of Andreas Katz. As we come into Brooklands, he's going to outbrake him. How's his exit, though? That's the question. Katz looking to come back. This is going to give Terry the opportunity to go around the outside as well. Chepalevsky looking to stick his nose in. Terry very nearly makes contact with the back of Katz's car. Round out one lap already, and I've barely stopped talking.
Carnage, isn't it? It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. Again, a lovely gentleman that like to make fools of us commentators. Simon Field got into the back of Chepalevsky a little bit off the start. Did a great job of saving that. And I think it was Ander Diaz got into Nick McCarron going into turn 2.
Well, we'll see if we can go back and have a look at that start in a moment.
What the crash was.
But Sutton's got it from Katz, who almost got his nose taken off there, and Terry's gone very wide there. He might just let Chepalevsky in. Simon Field, though, managing to hold on with that full-on sideways slide, is still in 5th position. And in 6th place is Wild, and Hoog has managed to keep going in 7th. Kai Barker is up to 8th, with Russell Laidler hot on his heels, and then Alexander Smolensky just behind.
Wild's made, Adam Terry's made a mistake there. He's just dropped down a little bit.
We'll see if we can go back and get a look on that one on the replay, but that's 6th place now for Adam Terry.
Simon Field, the master of saving those slides, isn't he? He did that at Summit Point earlier in the season as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and well, it's just as well really, because he's up to 4th position now, thanks to that mistake from Adam Terry. But Sutton is starting to creep out in front a little bit. We've got a little bit of a back marker appearing on the field there. Katz in 2nd. There's a noticeable gap back to Chepalevsky in 3rd. So those two main rivals are in 2nd and 3rd position at the moment. Oh, and Kai Barker's lost a couple of places there. I wonder what's happened to him. He's down to 10th.
Decent group of guys here. Yeah, a little bit of a gap there for Ashley Sutton. He's stretched it a little bit, isn't he? And then Adam Terry's incident has just left a little bit of a hole behind Katz for Chepalevsky.
Ellis Stevens is under threat from Ander Diaz, who tries to go around the outside here much later on the brakes, but he's not going to be able to make that one stick. Stevens, though, going very wide through Brooklands, and Diaz having to jab on the brakes a little bit early there. He's going for the exit, trying to pip Ellis Stevens down the main straight. We'll see how that one pans out. Laura Bond 12th, Kai Barker into the pits.
Yeah, it's good action all the way down the field here, and wasn't Ander Diaz that went off at the start then? It must have been the other Yuasa car.
Yeah, I believe it might have been Stephen Hefford, in fact.
Yeah, his run of bad luck continues then. Where's Laura Bond? P11, that's pretty good. Laura Bond fan club colouring themselves semi-happy with that one.
Scott Malcolm side by side with a blinking Julian Janowski, so Janowski with connection problems there. Looks like he's going.
That is a connection issue, by the way. Yeah, you're not calling him the blinking Julian Janowski in the good old English slang of...
Absolutely not. So Mark Hewitt down at 19th.
Just edging back up to the back of Katsuya. I mean, I've seen this before. This is great. I love seeing Stellian when he's got the bit between his teeth and he's really going for it, and he's been like a bear with a sore head all week long since last week, and he just knew he was going to be on it tonight.
And Richard Wilde has slipped behind Adam Terry, and the two are nose to tail. Terry just leads from Wilde, but Wilde gets a better exit, so might have the inside line down into this hairpin at Maggots. No, Terry's just going to get there first, so maintains 5th position, but Wilde right on his tail, eager to get that 5th place back. Oh, and Hoog's gone. What's happened to Hoog? He's withdrawn from the race, he's out. No idea what happened to him, but that's a shame for him. So that pushes Russell Laidler up to 7th.
Dim Coochie Bobos.
And Laidler is now 4 seconds behind the main group at the head of the field, with a couple of dents on that car. Oh, and we've got a sideways to Milensky as he was caught there by Ellis Stevens. Good save. But
a little bit of a love tap there from Ellis.
And no real damage done, no positions changed there. Bond down to 15th, unfortunately. She's made a mistake coming through Brooklands. And that's Aaron Mullen just behind, I believe. So she's going to get mullered down this straight.
Chaplevsky cruised himself up to the back of Katz with some intent here. I suspect if you could see a picture of Stelian Chaplevsky right now, I'd put money on it that he is gritting his teeth and you can hear him gnawing in the background.
Well, I think we should try and arrange that on BSR TV. I think that would be fantastic. But no. Oh, and contact between Stevens and Janowski. Sorry, that's Malcolm and Janowski, and they're both off. Oh, and that was unnecessary, I think. Unfortunate coming together there. Let's have a quick look at that one on the replay. As Janowski's got the inside line coming in, and Malcolm just doesn't give him any room now, unfortunately, and there's nowhere for Janowski to go on the brakes. And yeah, coming back on the track, Janowski could have given Malcolm a little bit more room there. Have to be fair about that, and didn't. So that's going to put both drivers into the pits, I believe.
Ellis Stevens will be a worried man looking in his rearview mirror at the minute. Andy Diaz is sat there. He's looking like a tiger that someone's just zapped with a taser as usual.
Well, halfway through this race, round 25 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship from Silverstone National, Andy Diaz is in 10th place. That is the red and white Yuasa car you can see on your screen right now. And Ellis Stevens doing well to hold on to 9th, really picking up those positions because of incidents higher up the field. Ashley Sutton has a very small lead over Andreas Katz in 2nd place. The important thing for Katz, though, is that he finishes in front of Chaplevsky.
It is. I'm not sure I would fancy his chances of doing that too much at the minute, but you know, these guys have tangled and tripped over each other for the last 2 or 3 weeks now, and I can't see how they can go through tonight without doing it again.
There's still a long way to go, 7 laps yet to complete in this race. Meanwhile, the battle for 7th continues to rage because Smolensky is right on the tail of Russell Laidler. Neither of those cars looking particularly good on the paint job side of things, unfortunately. Oh, and Smolensky's just clipped a little bit of grass there, looking for the inside line. Can't find it, and he's taken Laidler out into the back of Rusty. And, oh dear, that was unnecessary as well, wasn't it?
Smolensky's been another one who this week in practice has been voicing his discontent at people all week long about different driving skills and things like that, and then he just goes and undoes any whining that he's done all week by making a move like that. Amateur hour.
Yeah, it really wasn't the best line from Smolensky, unfortunately.
Nah, he's a shocker, isn't he?
We'll just have a look at that one on board as well from another replay angle. Maybe he felt like he was far enough alongside Laidler. No, he's backed off into the corner and then
just guffed it.
Late on the brakes.
Well, Burton running in P16, that's pretty impressive from him. And man, somehow not a single scratch on his car either. which is uncharacteristic for Rob. He's normally dented it by now.
He's got Aaron Mullen just up in front of him. Laura Bond working her way back up to 13th place is the Bianca car. You can just see it at the bottom of your picture there.
There's a decent group in front of her as well there to make some places up with as well, isn't there?
There is, and Burton, very late on the brakes, just maybe a little love tap on the back of Mullen's car, but Mullen survives that one unscathed. And there's James Hickson off in the background.
So much for Rob looking after the paint job.
You know, we paid a lot of money to get these paint jobs spick and span on these BSR TV cars, and he's thrown caution to the wind there a little bit.
And Diaz has meanwhile got his way around Ellis. So Ellis has been mauled by the Spanish Tiger.
7th place for Ander Diaz. We've lost Smolenski and we've lost Laidler now as well.
Simon Field off into Oxfordshire there around turn 1.
And Simon Field has dropped back a little bit, 1.4 seconds now the gap to the front 3, but there's very little to choose between them once again. Sutton
into
is
lap cars now though. Yeah,
he's just coming up to the Iwasa back marker, and I believe that is Stephen Hefford.
Yeah, with Ignacio Pinella in front of him, so these guys are about to find life being very difficult for them.
A little tap from Sutton there on the back of Hefford's car, just to remind him that he's there and needs to get out of the way, but no yield from Hefford. He might well be racing that car up in front of him.
Yes. Not going to say a word. Anyway, that's allowed Chepelewski and Katz to cruise up a little bit and take a couple of tenths out of him, and they're going to have to work their way behind him.
Well, Sutton round one of the back markers. The other two will have to get round as well.
Yeah, Chepelewski is on the back of Katz as well. I don't think he's close enough yet. He's not going to make a move this time round.
So Hefford, and Hefford's made contact with Pinella. Pinella just keeps it out of the back of Sutton, and where's Hefford gone? Well, Hefford's gone for his own adventure.
It's no good disappearing off onto the other side of the track, Steph. We all saw it.
Where's he gone?
Gone to hide in shame, I think.
Oh, that's a shame as well, because that was a good battle going on there. The main problem there being that the white car in front there and the red and white Yuasa were racing each other. Even though they're back markers, they don't need to get out of the way when they're racing for position. Caused Sutton a bit of a problem, but yeah, the only one it really undid, unfortunately, was the culprit there, Stephen Hefford, who makes his way onto the Silverstone Grand Prix track in the meantime, although Pinella's withdrawn now.
It is tricky, that little bit. If you do actually make a mistake at that hairpin, you're going to you can get off and find yourself onto the Grand Prix circuit very easily. So
yeah, indeed you can.
He wasn't really going to hide in shame, but it for all intents and purposes looked that way.
Andreas Katz now has a motivated Stelian Chepelewski on his tail with only 3 laps to go here. Can Chepelewski make the move before the end of the race? He needs the points desperately.
He's got to, hasn't he? I mean, he can't sit behind him. He's got to throw one at him eventually and just hope that Katz is... well, I mean, you know, if I was him, I'd throw one at him anyway and just hope that Katz is smart enough to get it away. And if he doesn't, you know, I don't think Chepelewski's going to be too disappointed by that. It's just crunch time in the season. This isn't knitting. It's not a sewing competition. You're not here to make friends. You're here to win races.
So 3 laps to go from round 25. Chepelewski just losing out a little bit as we come over the start-finish line once again. That gap's about half a second at the moment. Sutton looks to have run away with this one. So
Sutton well again, Ashley, isn't he?
He is. Very steady pace, keeping the lead. Not really under threat at the moment. Simon Field picks up 4th position.
And since we're not in the middle of a championship battle, we can make this point, but looking ahead to next season, he's Ashley Sutton, last couple of weeks, is making quite a statement, isn't he? Quite a statement of intent.
He is. He's now in the top 10 of the championship as well, I believe, and he is, well, he's on for a very successful season should he decide to take up the British Touring Car Championship for season 5. Simon Field,
yeah, I think Chepelewski's just pushing. He's just pushing too hard, isn't he?
I think you might well be right. Adam Terry 5th, Richard Wilde 6th, Ellis Stevens up to 7th position now, got back around past Ander Diaz. Very surprised those two haven't come to blows more than they have.
Well, especially knowing Ander Diaz's record, yeah. You've got to say that, in all credit to Andreas Katz, he drives, you know, he's driven well all season. He's not making many mistakes, and he's just got that, you know, that clinical German efficiency, isn't he? He just keeps plugging away, doesn't make mistakes. And no matter what pressure Stellion's putting him under here, he's not buckled one bit.
you're completely right there, and some pretty poor luck from Chepelewski in the last round with one disconnect and being taken out by a backmarker in another race has...
An idiot in the other race.
Well, it's swung the championship into the favour of Andreas Katz, the efficient German eBay machine. And with 2 laps to go, it looks like he's on for second place unless Chepelewski can magically pull some pace from somewhere. And this is the stage in the race where the tyres are starting to get a little bit worn. You might have pushed them a little bit hard to maintain your current position, and mistakes come a lot more easily than they do at the start, except for the first lap maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe some of that damage will start to take a toll as well. I think the mistake that we saw a couple of laps ago is what's done it for Chepelewski. He has pulled some time back, but just not enough. Of course, it wouldn't stop me. I'd probably throw one at him anyway. Well, there's a little mistake there from Katz, so...
Well, it's still anyone's game. I mean, Katz has got the advantage at the moment. Not enough straight on this circuit to do any kind of real drafting here. Probably worth mentioning as well that Laura Bond up to 11th place, hot on the heels of Peter van Gool. Oh, and just losing out there to Russell Laidler perhaps, but maintains it down the straight. As we're on the last lap now, Ashley Sutton comes over the line to win round 25 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship in fantastic style. Another very clean, very efficient race from him. Katz holds second, Chepelewski third, Simon Field over the line fourth, Terry in fifth, Richard Wilde sixth, and Ellis Stevens holds off Ander Diaz to take seventh.
Yeah, Ellis must have got back past him at some point, so credit to him. That's not an easy thing to do.
Robert Plumley there in 9th position. Peter van Gool just holds on to 10th from a charging Laura Bond at the end, with Russell Laidler taking 12th. Michael Hall 13th, Rob Burton impressive 14th, Aaron Mullen takes the last of the points in 15th place. I'm just wondering, in fact, if we can go back to have a quick look at the start of the race here. Just rewind the tape a little bit and have a look at that incident with Simon Field, because that was in dramatic fashion, wasn't it?
That was a cracking save, wasn't it?
Well, let's have a look and see what happens to Simon Field. He's the yellow and black car, you can see. And it's is that... Well, who? It's one of the Addison Lees who just makes contact with the side of Simon Field, and
is it?
Richard Wilde does very well to avoid Field there, but brilliant save there from Simon Field.
Chepelewski, wasn't it?
Chepelewski making contact with Simon Field then, and just wondering if we can watch this from the cockpit from Simon Field's point of view. He gets an absolutely flying start, gets around on the inside of Chepelewski. That's Adam Terry up in front there. He is on the brakes there, but yeah, just gets clobbered by Chepelewski, and I'm not sure if Chepelewski realised he was there or not, you know?
He knew he was there. Shellyan was just not going to give that position up that early on at all, so...
Well, no damage.
Rusty Laidler's not very amused at something. I didn't see what happened there, but he's...
Well, he was taken out from behind by
by
Smolensky, wasn't he, remember?
Yes.
We saw that on camera from a number of angles, and Smolensky was just too late on the brakes. But
I think some of these guys perhaps need reminding that if you're going to if you're going to run practice sessions during the week and you're going to run your mouth at people for being a little bit silly, then if you're going to pile into the back of someone in a race after doing that, perhaps it's best you shut up during the week, because it makes you look a little bit of a muppet.
Well, yeah, indeed. Well, we're joined now by race winner Ashley Sutton. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, guys.
Thanks for joining us. Another impressive victory. That's 3 out of the last 4 races that have gone right your way. How easy was that? You made it look very simple.
It was just damage limitation, really. I had to get into the lead, hold the gap, because it's very hard with a slipstream to pull one. But the back markers definitely made it slightly more difficult than I expected.
And I imagine you had your eye on the mirror for the whole race for Katz and Chepelewski, just making sure that they kept themselves to themselves.
That's it, yeah. I just had to make sure that they kept themselves busy so I could concentrate a little bit more on what I was doing.
Well, second race, you're going to be on pole position, so you don't have Katz to jump in front of this time. You can pretty much lead from the get-go, assuming you get a good start. But how do you think that one's going to go?
Well, I'll try and do this exactly the same. Get a good start, hold the gap. If not, try and pull one. But like I said, with the slipstream around here, it's very hard. You can gain back 2 to 3 tenths within a lap. So to pull a gap's extremely hard around here.
And if either of those chaps at the top, Chepelewski or Katz, manage to get the draft, how easy is it for them to just slip past you on one of these corners?
But at the end of the day, there's only one way past me, and that's around the outside. So we'll see what they can do, and I'll see what I can do.
Thanks, Ashley. Good luck in the second race.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
That's Ashley Sutton there. Brilliant result as well.
Not a fan of Eminem.
He's not a fan of what?
Eminem.
I don't follow.
Eminem was always going round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
That is terrible. That really is. I have to apologise to the viewers for that one.
Don't apologise.
Fantastic.
Interesting he was mentioning about the back markers there. I don't think he was overly impressed with Stephen Hefford and Ignacio Pinella, but you know, the blue flag rule in iRacing is that it's there to tell you the car behind you is the leader. It's not to tell you have to move out of the way. So
yeah, that is true. And we're joined now by 4th place finisher Simon Field. Evening, Simon.
Evening, Chris.
A great save on the very first lap. Must have got your heart going a little bit when Chepelewski came across.
Well, I'm just kind of watching it back now. I think I was following Adam Terry into the corner, and I think he turned a bit late, and so did I, and come together. Racing incident, you know, there was nothing to it. It's one of those things. Gave me a bit of damage, but.
Well, you managed to hold 5th place at that stage of the race, and like you say, no damage to worry about. From there, were you worried about Richard Wilde behind you?
I was till Adam made the mistake, and then when they started battling, that was it. Then they kind of dropped back a bit, and I was kind of safe then, just had to get it home.
And you finished now 19 out of, I think it's 19 out of the last 25 races in the top 5. So really impressive form this season. And can you keep it up for the rest of Silverstone?
Well, that's the plan anyway. We'll have to see how it goes. You know, but I need to try and do something to get ahead of them pair, otherwise the championship's going to go.
And both.
Well, you get top marks on the style points again. I was saying in commentary that we saw you do something similar at Summit Point. I'm starting to think you're just doing it to show off, but good save anyway.
A bit more speed, that's all I need. I'll be there.
2 more races to go. You're starting 4th in the second race, and we'll be watching out. Thanks a lot, Simon.
No bother, mate. Cheers.
That's Simon Field for Wix Racing. His Wix Racing teammate, by the way, Mark Hewitt, in his first time out, comes home in 15th place and grabs the last point. So good.
Yeah,
good
pretty
result.
respectable.
Good. Actually,
Rob Burton in 14th. Good, well done, Rob.
Do you know what? The timing screens are disagreeing again because it's got Hewitt here in 16th. So either he got a point or he didn't. But on the viewers' screens a moment ago, it would have said that he did get the last point. But maybe we can confirm that.
Shows him in 15th from what I can see.
In any case, we have a few minutes to go before round 26. The grid will be the results from the last race. So if you're watching live on Twitch, stay where you are. The stream will tune back by itself. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can advance to the next video. But thanks for watching round 25, and we'll see you in a moment.